Okay, this next video is going to be for your new project in Adobe Illustrator. What we call this is low poly art. So if you type in low poly into Google, you can take out some examples here. Check out some examples. What we're doing is we're taking something that in real life is three-dimensional and rounded and shadowed and shaded and everything else, and we're putting it into this kind of geometric shape. You can think of it as like triangles all kind of put together, and then we shade the triangles and you get this effect from it. An example down a little bit further down below, there's one here with a little dog. This is another example which I'll show in class, right? So you have the original, and then this is that low poly version made up of those triangles. So we're going to do a little like almost like a combo of this sort of style, this low poly style, mixed with what we call a wedha pop art. So you can type that in as well. This wedha pop art is a style that was created by this man, Wedha Abdul Rashid, an Indonesian artist who, and this is actually a picture of him, came up with this style. He paints the style. You can see from this picture in the background, he's actually painting it. We're going to do it in Illustrator. And this style really took off, and now a lot of people are copying it. So if you go to this Wedha Pop Art and look it up, you'll see other people's versions of the same sort of style. So it's not just triangles. In this case, you can see obviously there's a lot of other shapes, but they all have straight lines and sharp corners, no curves. This project has no curves. Let me repeat that, no curves. And this video here sort of breaks down, if you have an original picture, right, you're going to have a picture that you find online, and underneath it, you're going to fill this in, and this shows you the triangle version. You can see here you're building one triangle, another triangle, triangle, and wherever the shadows are, so for example here, this is a lighter area, so you're going to have larger triangles, and then as you get towards the edges where it gets darker, you're going to have smaller triangles. So more triangles or more shapes for the darker areas, and bigger shapes, I should say, for the lighter areas. And then at the end, you're going to begin to be able to,
This is an ad for project
you're going to be able to color it and really and put it together that way. You can always look up that video if you want to see it, low poly and Illustrator tutorial. But what we're going to do is just set you up for this new one and show you how to kind of do it. So you're going to go to Illustrator, you're going to go to File and New. When this comes up, you want to select the tabloid size, and it's up to you. You can do it vertical or horizontal. I'm going to do it vertical for now. I'm going to hit Create, and you get your new white artboard. And then you're going to go online and you're going to find an image, a full body image of someone. So it can be an athlete, it could be a dancer. To give you an example here, any of these full body shots, head to toe shots, would be great for this particular project. You're going to click on the one that you want, you're going to drag that onto your folder in graphics. So I did one example here. I grabbed this picture here on my desktop, looks like this, and what I'm going to do is import that. So you're going to go to File, Place. After you go to File and Place, you're going to find that file. You're going to click Place. Here where it says Options though, click, make sure that you uncheck Link, and then hit Place. When it comes up, you're going to click and drag, and then with it selected, take the opacity and bring the opacity down so it's a little bit lighter. Then we're going to go over to your Layers panel here. If you don't see it, you can always go to Window and Layers and it will pop up for you. And here, this is the first layer. I'm going to hit this little lock right here to kind of lock down that layer, and then on top of it we're going to click a Create New Layer button to create a brand new layer on top, and on this spot we're going to double click and call it Draw. Now on this layer, you're going to zoom in. So take the zoom tool or do Command plus. Zoom in as close as you can to get started. And it doesn't matter where you start. I'll start maybe here on the hood. Alright, so I'm about that close, maybe even a little closer when I begin. I'm going to take the hand tool and just kind of move over like this. So, two options, or you can combine the two options. First, the only tool you're going to use for this project is the pen tool. Alright, I'm going to go to the tear off button here and just tear off those tools. So you're going to only use the pen tool. When you first start at the top here where the fill color is, I'm going to click on that and set it to none, so there's no fill. Then the stroke I'm going to click on, and I would make it black so you could see it, and then the size of the stroke I would put it like a 0.25, so it's very thin. And then you start. Now This is a lighter area, right? And then over here, it's darker, and over here, it's darker. So more triangles where it's darker, and larger and less triangles where it's lighter. So I might do like this. Click, let go. Click, let go. Click, let go. And then come back to where I started. All right? Then I hold Command on my keyboard, and I click away. And then I do another one. Click, click, click. But I can't stop there. I actually have to close it back to where I started. So now that's 2. I hold Command, and I click away. And then I continue like that. The closer you are, the easier it will be. So click, 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 and then close it. So like I got 3 triangles, right? And you can continue to create triangles like that, just the way the video I showed you before. If you want to get a little bit more detailed, you can change it from a triangle to something else. Remember, you're just clicking and letting go, clicking and letting go. And you might see it a little differently than I do, but I'm just doing a bunch of clicks and close it up. And then I hold Command and I click away. So now I have 4 shapes. Now after you do a few shapes, take the black arrow, click on the shape, go over to your fill color, or you can do your fill right here, double click, choose a color. So this is a light area, so I'm going to choose a light color. And I'm going to click on the stroke and get rid of the stroke. See that? And then I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to do something similar. Maybe I'll use the eyedropper, give it the same as this one, but change it a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go to this one. So they might be somewhat similar. The colors you can kind of pick out as you'd like. Like these are pretty close to the same colors, but they're just a little bit different. And then I go to this one. So let's say this one gets a little bit darker, right? Like that. And you continue like that. You can also create shapes, just so you can see. I can create a shape like this, let's say. Right? Just like that. Change the color. And then I have the option. I could leave it there if I like it, or I could click on it, right click, arrange it, and send it to the back. And it will go behind the other one. And you start creating just like that. You create one shape and then you build off of that shape with more shapes off of that. So I might have another shape here. I see this kind of darker area. Close it back up. Don't forget to close it back up. Color it whatever you'd like. And then again, you can right click on it, arrange it, and send it to the back. And then you create another shape and another shape. So sort of follow the shadows and lines that you see. But you can do lots of little triangles in spots, or like right here would be a good spot for like a large triangle. And then fill it with whatever color you think. And then the areas that are darker, like over here, might have more, you know, or thinner shapes or smaller shapes or just more of them. All right? And you can continue like that. And then every so often you hide the original layer 1 to see what you have, and then turn it back on. And by the end it will look very much like them. You could probably find some examples of these full body polys. So you could probably do like full body, low poly. So we're kind of breaking it up in the same way where it's going to be broken up into all these little pieces. Let's see. Try low poly. NBA art. Yeah, these are examples of very, very similar sort of things. This would be a low poly version here. Same concept, same idea. You'll see a lot of these kind of things. All right, so it's breaking down that like wireframe underneath into this. All right, so you can take a look at a lot of these online, and then later when we go to fill them in, if you do want to do a style like this where we're adding some dot patterns or line patterns, just let me know, and I will show you in class how to add those. Okay.